All right. New day, new video, right? Am I? All right, yeah. First off, I want to thank you for watching all of these videos. I want to thank you for subscribing. I want to thank you for not unsubscribing. I want to thank you for being a friend. Also, watching 30 seconds or more of each of the advertisements, because that's how we get paid over here on the YouTube, as us young kids call it. All right. I got a lot of really good ideas for videos. I got two index cards filled with ideas, but I'm always looking for more ideas. So if you have an idea for me to do a writing video, then either post it in the comments, hey, I have an idea for a video, or send me a message, Armand Rosamilia. You see my name right there. All one word at gmail.com. Send me your ideas. Just say in the title of it, video ideas. I'm looking for one. I'm looking for 100. I'm looking for as many as you can. Because every Wednesday and every Sunday, I do these videos. Okay. Let's talk about author photos. When you first clicked on this video, okay, you saw my author photo. And I like that photo. Mr. Hand, Tom Hand, was a photographer for a while. He ran Subculture Corsets and Clothing here in Jacksonville, Florida. A good friend. Haven't seen him in a long time, but he after he closed up the store, he got into photography for a while. He did some really cool stuff. He did a lot of he had like a studio, and he did a lot of sexy pictures with women, we'll call it, okay, from time to time. And then sexy me. And for the longest time I had a black and white picture. Okay. Let me let me do something here. Let me pull some books and show you kind of the way this changed over the years. We'll pull some random books here. I don't know. I probably should have done all this beforehand, right? That would have been smart. I don't know. So for the longest time on any of my horror stuff, and I'm leaving all of that in. I'm not cutting anything out. I had this on the covers. Okay, so a reader, a fan, had drawn that. Me with a skeleton hand and a Slayer shirt. I also had, if you notice, I had my facial hair was dark at the time. I got a little bit of gray now. Then I went to the Flagler ones. Those are the ones. I'm making a mess over here. For the non-horror stuff, I went with that picture. See that picture? That picture of me. I mean, damn, am I good looking? That picture of me is goodness. That's got to be 25 years ago. It's got to be, yeah. Close to it. Definitely over 20 years old. And a girl I was dating at the time, I'll tell you exactly where that was taken. Girl I was dating at the time, Jackie, was a amateur photographer. She liked taking pictures. And I took her down to Vero Beach one time for wrestling matches. Southern Championship Wrestling, which is, I wrote a book about them. And it was after the book had come out, and they had started doing some promotions all around Florida, and they were doing a match down there. If you know anything about wrestling, Kevin Sullivan was in the main event on that one. And she and I went down, and we were sitting next to each other at the bar, and she turned, and I turned, and she took that picture of me. And I always said, hey, can I use this picture? I like this. This is a good author picture. And she's like, yeah, sure, why not? So that was my picture for a while. And then I went to the skeleton one when I was doing horror stuff. But I knew I needed a real author picture. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I saw a lot of author pictures, author pictures on Amazon and websites and whatnot, and it was of your cat. It was a plant. It was your author picture was the cover of your book. And I thought, well, that's not really professional. Or it was like, here's a picture of me cropped out because I was with 6 other people at a birthday party. And I always liked this picture of me. So to the left is, Aunt Jenny's arm, and to the right is Uncle Bob's arm, but I don't care because I like how I look in this picture. So a lot of those. There was a ton of those pictures out there. And I just thought that, an author picture should be you. It's a picture of the author. And so there's people out there, I'm going to say this, who I'm talking about, that put their picture through 4,000 different photo things and it doesn't look anything like them at all. Okay. Um, there's a specific person that we probably all know. The people who are watching this, probably about more than half of you know exactly who I'm going to talk about. She puts her pictures through so many filters that sometimes her neck is like this big because she's skinnying her face up. Skinnying, yeah, that's a word. She's glossing over her normal complexion. She just fixing herself up so much that when you see her author picture and you see pictures of her on Facebook and whatnot, and then you meet her for the first time, you're like, well, that can't be the same person. That doesn't look anything like her. And I always wonder. I think to myself, well, why are you doing that? Why is that your author picture? If people then are going to meet you in person and know that it's all a lie. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to skinny up my face. I didn't want to, color my some of the gray out, any of that stuff in Photoshop and whatnot. I just was like, what, this is me. And let's be honest, I'm a damn good looking guy. So I wanted something legit. I wanted something real. And at the time I was writing more crime thriller stuff. So I said, I don't want to do the horror author one. They're standing in a graveyard. They're standing in the woods. They're acting like they're a one-man black metal band, snow on the ground, black and white, picture. I didn't want to do all that. Okay. I didn't want a picture of me. I've seen like a dozen authors that they're at the, uh, Edgar Allan Poe's tomb or something, I didn't want all of those. I don't want those pictures because I was getting away from the horror stuff, and also on top of that, I was crime thriller. So I looked at all the crime thriller authors, the ones that I like. And I said, what are they doing? What are they doing? And yeah, there are some that are some guy. There's one author you might know him, and his author picture is a Glock with like 4 bullets or something like that, or the ammo, so whatever. And I'm like, well, that unless I went to a gun show and I'd be like, oh, that's author so and so. Like, no, that's just a Glock 17. So I didn't want to do any of that. I didn't want to do the, hey, this was a nice picture of me that my daughter took for me kind of thing. And I have tons of those pictures. I have tons of those, me out in the wild pictures. And I'm like, I look pretty good in that picture. I didn't want that. I wanted something more professional. And looking at the crime thriller authors out there and what they were doing, I thought to myself, I want to wear a nicer shirt. I don't want another picture of me in a t-shirt. I always wear t-shirts. I just want something that it looks way more professional. So I talked to Mr. Hand. Him and his wife Mimsy had come over for dinner one time. We were hanging out, and I said I would love author photos, and he was like, "Yeah, that's not a problem at all. Let's do this." So I kind of gave him what idea I was looking for, and he's like, "Meet me downtown in Jacksonville, in the near the courthouse, or not near the courthouse, near some old building. Wasn't the courthouse? It looked like the courthouse, across from the park where all the homeless people hang out." So we went, put on a nice shirt. In fact, I put on a shirt that I had purchased at Subculture Corsets and Clothing, and we did a bunch of pictures. We were out there for about an hour, just taking different poses and different pictures. He sent me all the photos, and I decided on the one that you see when I did it. But for a recap, that picture, I love that shirt. I wish I wasn't so fat because I don't think I can even wear that shirt anymore. I think it's too small for me. But I love that picture of me. It's kind of to the side. To the side. I'm looking at you. I think that, to me, that is a crime thriller author picture. Now you may not agree. I don't care. Armand's opinion. So that was the thing for me. I think it's very important to get the right photo, and to you don't have to spend billions of dollars. There's a lot of photographer friends that you might know. Okay. Um, Tim Meyer, the author, his wife Ashley does amazing photography. She's a wedding photographer. I know Chuck Buddha. She did Chuck Buddha's author picture, which is great. She's obviously, I'm sure she's done Tim's. She's done other people, I believe. You need somebody who knows what they're doing with a camera, and a lot of authors will take that picture from like 20 years ago. The same picture they're putting on the dating sites now, and they're acting like this. This is a picture of me from 2006, but I'm going to use this to date, and then I'm going to surprise my my date when I show up at the bar this weekend, and they're going to realize, wow, this is an old picture of you. And man, when I was out there in the dating world, there was tons of those. There was tons of women that did that. I'm sure there was tons of guys. I wasn't looking at the guys' profiles, but the women's profiles were ridiculous with that. And then when I dated for like 6 years, I dated somebody for 6 years. Then I went back to that site, and it was some of the same pictures. And I'm like, well, these were old then. So this lady's got to be like 80 now, and her picture looks like she's 22. She's roller skating, to Xanadu. So what's going on here? I digress even. So that's kind of the thing. I mean, you're putting your best foot forward, whether it's your writing, whether it's your social media, whether it's your author picture. There are things that we can control. There's a lot we can't control. We can't control the algorithms. We can't control uh, Amazon ads. We can't control any of this stuff. You know what I mean? We can try. We can make pretend, but we're not going to be able to do much as a writer in this career or any career. So you want to put your best foot forward. You go to a doctor's office or a hospital, and you see a wall of all the doctors, and it's that pose. They're in their whites and their stethoscope around their neck, whatever, and they're kind of smiling, but well, let's not smile too much because people are dying in this place. And then you don't want where the last one is, oh, here's Dr. So and so, and she's on a swing, and it's from like 50 feet back because her kid took this picture and she loves this picture. That's not professional. Professional is professional headshots. Professional is do what you do. I know at the NINC convention every year they had a professional photographer there, and you can book a session and take pictures. And I know Douglas Pratt, Nicholas Harvey, the two of them do a podcast together. They have pictures together, And those are good. Those are good pictures. Those really are good pictures for them. And I think if you're serious about this, if you're in this business and you're serious about it, you want to put your best foot forward. And yeah, somebody's going to go, that's weird. There's a his author picture is a cup of coffee, but that doesn't tell the reader anything about you. That doesn't put a face to the books that they hopefully will read. Um, if I go to a convention, people know what I look like because I look like that. That's what I look like. I mean, yeah, there's a lot more gray, a lot more gray. Wow, this is not that old, that picture either. I guess it's just going to eventually grow out. Anyway, you can see it's me. Okay, you can see that I am the author in that picture. When I'm doing book signings and people turn over the books, and they're like, "Oh, this is you. Oh, you wrote this." Yes. They don't turn it over and go, "Oh, somebody with a gray cat wrote this book." That doesn't make any sense. So have a good photo of you. And again, you don't have to spend tons of money to do it. You just have to have something that looks professional. In today's day and age, everybody has a cell phone and they can take phenomenal pictures. You could take as good of a picture on your phone as you can with the latest Nikon whatever. I don't know. I don't know cameras. But it's got to be professional. It's got to be more than, hey, I'm just sitting on the steps and I'm going to cut the people next to me out, or here's me sitting with my kid in my lap. That's not a author photo. You know what I mean? Dress the part. Listen, if you're a horror author, yeah, then go take a couple of pictures in the graveyard. Act like again. Act like you're in a black metal band. Go hang out. Go hang out in the in Norway in the snow with the mountains behind you and a cross made of wood. I don't know. Who knows? What I'm saying is, you also don't want a crazy busy picture. I see that a lot. I see the author is in the foreground, but they're in like this building with stuff in it. So like right here, looking at this, I'll just stay still. This is an awful author picture. You know why? Because of all this crap I have in my office. Where's your eye going to go? Not to me, although it should. I'm so damn good looking. It's going to go to all the other stuff. You're trying to figure out all the other stuff in this room right now, and that's not good for a photo, for an author photo. Hopefully, these videos with all this crap behind me will keep you watching. You're not probably not even listening to my words at this point, but you're like, what's that? Is that a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle? Is that a 15-year? Wow, that's the best rated bourbon in the world. Blah blah blah. Or what the heck is that thing? I don't know. So really, an author photo has to be. It's your calling card. It's your business card. It's the thing you are handing out to the people. Okay, you want to entice them not to leave because it's so easy in this day and age for people to just move on. Okay. It's so easy for people to be like, nah, I don't care what this person is doing. But if they're seeing the person, okay, there's a connection there. There's a connection to the author, and then you are reading the books. So many authors I read growing up, and now I get to see them. I get to see them in interviews. I get to see them and all that. But I'm like, okay, that back cover picture. I get it. I know who this person is. As soon as that person pops up, I know who that is. You know, all those author photos from back in the day of Dean Koontz with Dean Koontz losing his hair, and now he's got that giant muffin thing. I don't know what he's got going on. But I know who he is because he had an author photo, and it was not a coffee cup. it was not his his latest flower that he grew or some weird thing like that. So keep it in mind. Again, you don't have to spend a ton of money on this. This is not one of those things where you're going to hire a full team and you're going to spend thousands of dollars, go into a studio and spend the day with different poses and different items in your hand and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. I see a lot of them that have like a book in their hand and they're turned and they're staring at a book and they kind of look over at you. And I'm like, if that's your thing, I'm not sure. Romance authors, other authors, I'm not sure what they do, what the thing to do. Again, we're not reinventing the wheel. It's like book covers. You want somebody to look at that book cover and go, oh, that's a horror book, that's a romance book, that's a thriller book, whatever. You want people to look at it, immediately know, because we're judging a book by its cover. We're doing the same thing with author photos. We're judging that person as soon as we see them. We are connecting the dots. We're saying, this is the person's name, this is the book cover. I turn over the book, and there's the author photo, and I immediately know, in my brain, I put those three things together, and I know if I'm gonna even want to pick up this book and read it, because the fight or flight in us is like, put this book down and don't touch it again. That's just human nature. All right, I'm getting all philosophical now. Thank you for watching all these. Thank you for watching 30 seconds or more of the ads. Thank you for, feel free to buy one of my books and just stare at my picture. I have no problem with that. It's happened many, many times before. Appreciate it. Every Wednesday, every Sunday, one of these videos, an occasional Friday as well.